I can do it. I think only the host can do it, and I'm a co-host.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Sorry about that. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. I keep getting calls back to back right now. There we go. So Michelle is just now made the host. Michelle is the host, and she can go ahead and begin with her program.
Wonderful. Thank you, LaBelle, and thank you, Angela. Can everybody hear me? Can I get a thumbs up that you guys can hear me okay? I love that we are a year plus into Zoomville, and we still have our fun little gremlins and gizmos that kind of start up. So I'm going to go ahead and start my time because I want to be respectful for everything we have going on today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my presentation. And like LaBelle said, my company is Dynamic Development Strategies. I'm a nonprofit consultant. So I love talking about nonprofits, how they work, and how we can help them operate even better. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen. And let's see here. Again, I've done this how many times, and I still have to look as I do it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And here we go. Okay, so can I get a couple people saying yes or a thumbs up that they can see the screen? Okay, yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So what we're going to talk about today is all about nonprofits. And what I think is really great about nonprofits, there we go. Make sure I can advance that screen. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and leave it like this so I can still see you guys because I love being able to see faces as I'm talking. And right now, most of you have your video off, which I totally understand, but I'm going to scroll down and get, oh, there's Miss Jessica. Thank you. And a few more people. I can see their expression. I love being able to see the audience. So, you know, my company is about 2 years old, and I've been fortunate to speak to 1 Million Cups a couple of times and do refills. But here's a secret that some of you may not know is I don't even drink coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I am passionate about nonprofits and helping them be better organizations, like I said. So what I want to talk about today is some basic, maybe some myths or misconceptions about nonprofits and how they're really like small businesses and how we can all help them, whether you're a consultant like myself or you're a community member, or maybe you're a volunteer or a board member, how you can help nonprofits be even more successful. So one thing I'll say about nonprofits is that we use several different terms. You know, we might say charity, we might say 501c3, which is the tax code, because we love talking about the IRS, right? But today I want to talk just some basics about nonprofits and really the difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit. Are there different kinds of nonprofits? Okay, spoiler alert, if the IRS has something to do with it, there's going to be lots and lots of different types of nonprofits. Here's one. Can a nonprofit make a profit? How do you start a nonprofit? How do I serve on a board? And how you can help your favorite nonprofit organization. So it's a lot to cover, so I'm going to go kind of fast, but not too fast. So here is just a little bit about me. I've been doing fundraising and nonprofit management for over 20 years. I'm going to go ahead and admit somebody into the room real quick because I get to do, let's see here, I can just admit everybody. And then I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. So I'm going to kind of multitask today. So that's me. I'm a certified fundraising executive, and I'm obviously very passionate about nonprofits. Okay, so next up is what is a nonprofit? Basically, it is a nonprofit. It's defined as a without having purpose of profit for members of the organization. And to answer that question, the IRS recognizes over 30 types of nonprofits. So the most common is the one I mentioned, 501c3, which is known as a public charity. So when you're thinking about your typical nonprofit, that's really what you're probably thinking about. So here's a chart that nobody can read because you're not supposed to put a big chart on a graphic like this. But if you have questions or want to know more, I can definitely send this to you if you want to reach out to me. So basically, you know, with nonprofit, you have a different kind of a stream. You've got this top row of nonprofits. Here's that 501c3 in kind of that lime colored box. And then you've got different types below that. So you can have a private operating foundation. You can have a true private foundation. Here in Fort Worth, think about the Amon Carter Foundation. They're ones that give out money and we love them, but they operate differently than a public charity. So moving right along, for some of you in North Texas, you think, well, how big are nonprofits? You think small, you think what impact? $60 billion impact in North Texas, and that's from 2016. So again, pretty significant. Going through this next one, I've talked about this before. I have to give a shout out to Frost Bank. They've been a great sponsor of the Fort Worth Business Plan Competition. So if you're not familiar with this and you operate in Fort Worth, make sure you check that out. But it's a great competition for getting your business up and running and getting a business plan to help you be even more effective. So two numbers real quick on this screen. 95% of nonprofits in Texas operate under $1 million. And 65% of those operate on no revenue. And you're thinking, okay, I'm a business owner, I gotta have revenue, times are tough. How do you operate? So they're either working on a shoestring, they are self-funding themselves, or they're just about to go out of business. So that's a real reality here. All right, so real quickly, how do I start a nonprofit? Again, I'm gonna go over this pretty quickly because I've got about a minute left of my time. I want to be respectful. But like anything else, if you start a business or a nonprofit, have a plan, follow the guidelines. And if you need help, please talk to somebody like me. So next up is how do you serve? And again, think about any organization where you care about the mission, the work, the clients, the participants. Maybe you had a similar experience growing up. Maybe it has to do with your kiddos and you want to help their church or their school. Think about why you want to serve and think about whether it's your time, talent, or treasure. And again, time, talent, or treasure, they can be a benefit. So again, make sure you've got the time to serve and you understand what they're asking of you. So next up is how you can help. And again, I'm going to move this guy out of the way just for a little bit so we can see. Looks like I'm just about out of time, but I'm going to wrap up real quick and tell you, you can help by giving donations, volunteering, promote them on social media. If you have a cause that you care about and they do a post, share it, and LeBeau can give you all kinds of tips about social media, but comment on their post and share frequently. We talked about joining a board, and again, tell others about their work. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up with my contact information. If I had to summarize a couple of things about nonprofits is they should operate just like a for-profit. The main difference is their tax structure. So keep in mind that a for-profit and a nonprofit are very similar, but they have some different nuances on how they're run and how they report to the public. And again, they operate under a board of directors. So that was a fairly fast and all about nonprofits in about 6+ minutes. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Get us back over to everybody else and see if there are questions. Anything I'll need to kind of repeat, and I can see all your faces again. This is great.
Thank you, Michelle. Awesome. And congrats on everything that you've been able to achieve and all the work that you do, supporting nonprofits and helping nonprofits get started and launch is such a noble purpose in life because you're launching leaders and helping promote social good in so many different places. So I think that's wonderful. So you all can begin putting questions and comments in for Michelle in the chat box. And Angela, if you wouldn't mind reading some of those off as they come. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and make Shiley the next host so that she can get ready for her presentation, have that all set up. But go ahead and start asking those questions.
Wow, a lot of great comments in the chat box for Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. That was awesome. Good information. Good information. I have to say my background was in nonprofit as well, and it's one of those hidden gems in the communities, but I love to serve, and I just have a passion for nonprofits too in the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you. Any questions for Michelle? Fantastic presentation. Yep, I agree.
Oh, I see Jessica raising her hand.
Jessica, okay. Go ahead. How much does it, okay, Jessica's question, how much does it cost to start a 501c3?
That is a great question. So if I had to kind of eyeball it, Jessica, I would say roughly $1,000. You've got some startup costs for, you got to register with the state of Texas and also with the IRS to get your 501c3 certification. Those are some basic costs, but think about your startup costs for a business. a website. You might want to have some materials. You've got to have a board of directors in Texas, at least 3 people, 3 fingers up, I can count. They're unrelated. But so again, I would roughly say $1,000 gets you a shell of a nonprofit, but really the value is having that pre-plan. How are you going to, what are your programs? What are your projects? Are you offering something that another nonprofit offers? Who's your board of directors? Who are your donors? So many nonprofits don't think about fundraising. They look at me and go, ooh, no, I'd rather get a root canal than go fundraise. So, you know, but again, think about if you need a bookkeeper, you need an administrative person like Girl Friday, Fort Worth to help you. And so think about some of those basic costs and talent that you're going to need. So I say $1,000 is a very general number. But think about how you're going to fund that nonprofit year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, kind of like you would with a business plan and your business. So that's a rough number right there, Jessica.
Thank you, Michelle. Another question, this is from Amy. So what is your current demographic? And she's thinking of where she goes to college. A lot of her peers are interested in starting nonprofits.
I think that's a great question. Thank you so much. So demographics is interesting. So I kind of specialize in North Texas, but recently I've been getting clients all over Texas. So for me, Texas is kind of what I know about the best. Demographic, I'm really talking to a lot of nonprofit leaders that are people of color, that are people that are minorities, that don't see their work represented, and they have unique talent and experience to run that nonprofit. So I'm not going to get a whole lot into what you need to be or look like to run a nonprofit, but sometimes there's special expertise and just life experience. So demographics, I'm seeing mostly women, a lot in nonprofit, but some men. Sometimes, you know, I've got a client that's a gentleman, he's African-American, who was raised by a single mom, understands from his personal experience how hard it was for those single moms. So he started a nonprofit to help single moms. So he didn't really look exactly like himself, but he went back to his childhood. So the age range, I've got some folks that are, I'm really bad about guessing ages. I think everybody should just be like 30. Some that might be, you know, in their 30s and some that are in their 50s and 60s. So demographically wise, it's an age range, but it's a passion. And the ones that I will tell you that are the most successful, like I mentioned with Jessica's question, is they do the planning, they do their market research. Who are your competitors? Who else is doing the same work that you're wanting to do? You know, I usually get about 1 call a week from somebody saying, hey, Michelle, someone said I should talk to you about starting a nonprofit. And they are so excited, y'all. They're just doing their Snoopy happy dance about starting a nonprofit. And they go, I want to do a nonprofit to help give birthday parties to kids that are in shelters. That's a great idea, but I know of 2 organizations doing that already. And they're like, oh. And so, you know, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. And Kristen works a lot, you know, with Frost Bank, works a lot with nonprofits. So, you know, reach out to people, whether it's your banker, your CPA, your bookkeeper, your friends, and kind of learn more about your nonprofit workplace, or environment. But the demographic is pretty, sometimes it's zip code. I mean, there will be groups that want to help a certain zip code because they see the need, and that kind of defines their geographical reach too.
Wonderful. Thank you, Michelle. LeBeau, do we have time for one more question, or how are we on time?
Yeah, we can do one more question and then we'll go ahead and let Shiley begin.
Okay, wonderful. So one question is, what would you say is the best example of the way you've seen your organization's work make a difference?
Can you say the last part again, Angela? The best way that?
That you've seen your organization's work make a difference?
Okay, that's a great question. So that kind of goes under the what not to do category versus the what to do. So I would say basically the best thing is having your pool of supporters and recognizing your champion. So the ones that do really well, I know a nonprofit, I'll name them, the Jordan Elizabeth Harris Foundation works to prevent suicide, increase awareness. They do a lot of great work, and they're less than 5 years old. And if you were to look at them, you would think they've been around for many, many years. I look at some nonprofits that have been around longer, say 10 years, and they're still operating at a much smaller capacity. So I think the ones that really have a business mindset and really get a lot of partners and collaborators and fundraising involved early on are the ones that grow appropriately and can sustain those efforts. So there's a lot more we can talk about with fundraising because you can tell I kind of geek out about it. I like it. But in the interest of time, I'm looking forward to the next presentation and hearing about her work. But, you know, I think the best thing you do is just support each other, network, and help. And the ones, the nonprofits that do the best have a network of other fundraising or other nonprofit peers, and they just help each other out like we do in small business. So very similar in that aspect.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. And I
Thank you,
invite
ladies.
everyone who has any further questions or comments for Michelle, definitely send her a message in the chat box personally and let her know that you would like to connect and follow her and connect with her offline if you have any other follow-up questions. So now we're going to hear from Shiley of Social Media Sherpa. And I'm going to let Shiley take over and begin her presentation. And Shiley, you have 6 minutes. Interested in hearing more from you.
I got muted. There we go. You can see my slides?
Yes,
Great.
we do.
Great. Hi, everybody. My name is Shiley Hakimian from Your Social Media Sherpa. I love that I'm here in Texas. For some reason, I got so many clients in Texas. I have an Indian matchmaker in Dallas. I used to run social media for a seafood chain in Houston that is very prominent. I was every reply that they ever got. I had someone at Techstars in Austin. I have a family that I tutored in Houston. So it's just a whole lot of goodness. So I'm glad to be here virtually. So when it comes to marketing your business, has anyone heard, and I want to see a show of hands, that it's easier to get a repeat client or referral client than it is to get a new one? Yeah, I see some head nodding here. I see Taylor. Lynn is like, absolutely. Yet, so many people are doing their marketing without that in mind. Is that they know that their past clients are their greatest referrers, but they do nothing to stay in touch with them. They don't stay in their heads. So hi, I'm Shiley with Your Social Media Sherpa. I show you how to stay in touch and be unforgettable to your referral network. Okay, so some people ask me, what is a Sherpa? A Sherpa is a guide that takes you up the mountain in the Himalayas to make sure you're safe. I take you through the wealth of information that you've probably heard about what it's like to do your own marketing, right? Maybe Lynn knows that marketing is annoying, or maybe Bill knows marketing can get kind of crazy. I guide you so you don't have to feel overwhelmed. Bill is looking at me. Bill, I see you, Bill. So that's a little bit of what I do. What do I solve? So a lot of times people will have a social media manager, but they don't know what to tell them to do. They don't realize that the work that they do with their referral network 100% correlates with the work that they do for their business. That's how they're going to get new clients. That's how they're going to get referrals, is that your reputation matters. We know this as business owners, right? So here's what I do with my clients. I look at your social media presence. I look at everything you got. I look at your website. I look at your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, different things you posted on that you didn't even know you had. Because when your lead is going to come through the door, they're going to wonder, are you good at what you do? And I'll challenge you all, if you Google me right now, it should be very clear that I can do what I do. You can look, I'm on every platform, at Hakimian45. It's a little nuts, but I'm everywhere. So I do that. And then I do a 2-hour onboarding where I help learn your story. A lot of times the easiest tip I can give is share why you care about what you do. If you have a skincare company, why did you go into that? There's usually something way deeper that no one really knows about. And we want to know that. Publish it. That's the easiest content I can tell you about for anybody in any field. From there, I teach them a couple social media training skills. For some, it might be teaching them how to hack Instagram hashtags so they get seen by new people. For some, I have a client today, a celebrity caterer, who needs help learning how to use Canva. It really all depends. And sometimes it's helping them learn how they can offload their work to someone else so that they don't have one more thing on their plate that's driving them down. And usually I teach them how to do their social media efforts with a lot less effort than they thought they had to give. So how did I get into this? We have many interns in the house, and I was applying for an internship, and they asked in the internship, have you ever managed online communities before? And it sounded like something that I love to do, which I still love to do, and I still do today. And I realized on MySpace, I was doing a lot of community building for a bunch of my weird, nerdy hobby friends who also love the shows Big Brother and Survivor. Any fans in the house? It's a whole other topic. Yes. So I realized I'd done it before, and I wrote in the application that I had, and I got the position. It was a paid internship. It was great. And from there, I freelanced. I went to then a BNI meeting. Anyone know BNI? Where you network with other business owners? Yeah, I see Jessica's like, absolutely. I went there, and one of the owners was like, I don't think I can hire you to do social media. They didn't have the budget to spend $2, $3, $5 a month to hire me to do that. But they were like, can I just pay you to sit down with me and teach me how to do it myself? And I'm like, wait a second. I studied education at Indiana University. I love motivating and empowering people to see how amazing they are. And I love social media. This is my perfect gig. So from then on, I was working in teaching social media. I teach at the University of Chicago. I teach about 200 consultants on how to use LinkedIn to grow their business through one of my clients. Lee Niederthal, she's great. You can follow her. She's awesome. And I work with like dozens and dozens of individual companies and service-based businesses. So yeah, usually my entrepreneurs that I work with either have a small team or they are the team and they already like social media, but they aren't getting the results they want because they don't know how to use the tools the same way that they have their relationships in real life. So I've worked with a lot of different industries. I can show you after. Who wants some tips today? Briefly, gratitude. Thank people who engage with your content. Everything Michelle said about nonprofits works for real people. You're making relationships. LinkedIn, put a banner image that shows what you're really like in person. Maybe you're volunteering. I also give away my favorite LinkedIn profiles on my website, so you can use that for inspiration. I'm going to put a link in the chat. And then Twitter. Twitter is a great way to get a hold of anybody. You don't have to keep a presence there, but if you want to get a hold of a company like Elon Musk's brother, or I got K-Swiss or comedians, that's the greatest way to do it. So use your Twitter to your advantage. I've been growing my business on LinkedIn. Oop, that's my time. LinkedIn is amazing. I put lots of great videos and tips on there. What I need help with, I put a lot of details on here. Would love introductions to colleges to do LinkedIn trainings, Rotary clubs and chambers of commerce for the same reason. Things I'm looking to grow on as, what do you think of my pitch? I would love to learn more here, and any sort of nuggets there. I always like to end my talks with social media is about the people, not about your business. Provide for the people and the people will provide for you. Thanks.
Thank you, Shiley. Everyone give Shiley a hand. And I wish I could clap, but I only have one hand right now. But first of all, I wanted to say, I love your energy.
Thank you.
I love your energy. Everything you said was spot on, especially the way that you closed. I think that that is something that's so overlooked, especially when you're looking at a lot of other people's social media. You forget to think about your customers, right? And what they actually really, really want and need from you.
Sure.
And so I think everything that you provide is awesome. So I'll kick it off with one of the first questions, then I'll let Angela take over with going through the questions. But my first question is, it seems as if whenever you are dealing with social media, especially on Instagram, and whenever you really figure out their system, now it seems as if they're ready to shut you down or punish you, or they kind of stop you. Yeah, they'll shadow ban you, or they will send some kind of notification, because once you start doing the things that, I guess growth hackers figure out, to kind of boost that engagement and on the algorithm, it's like they're like, hold on. So how do you overcome that?
This is a great question. It's one I talk about on a regular basis. Algorithms are interesting. My clients pay me to figure it out for them. That's one factor. The second factor that will beat an algorithm, no matter what, is your human relationship with the person you're serving. Yes, the algorithms can shadow ban you or whatever, but if you got that person's email is forever. I didn't realize how important email was, but if you can get your social media to get them on an email, that social media account can never show your face again, but you have their email to remarket to them. And they said every $1 spent in email, you get $30 back or something insane. So I would say this: if you have a personal relationship with your following, Move them around. That is the thing. If they love and adore you, they will follow you. But a lot of people don't put that love and energy into that. They only use the algorithms, which can work to some extent. But I always say the only guarantee in life is those relationships. So stay in touch, get them where you want them to go, and that is key, because that will feed you far beyond the algorithms.
Did you hear what she just said? What she said was absolutely perfect. So what I'm talking about is once you actually figure out the algorithm and you listen to an expert like Shiley, if you start doing certain things, Instagram is set up to recognize that right? That you've caught on. So they will try to stop you because it's just a way that they feel that they're protecting the use of their users, right? It doesn't mean that you are doing a bad thing, right? You're just doing what you know works. But as she said, if you have a funnel or a pipeline, if you know how to move your customers from there, and you're always pointing them to somewhere else to connect with you, then they can make that connection. And that's what you want. You don't want them to just be an Instagram follower. What is that? You want them to be more than that and have a real relationship with you on Twitter and on every other platform. So that brings me to another point. Cross-pollinate. Make sure that you are promoting your other social media platforms in Instagram so that they know other places to follow you on. So Angela, with that, go ahead and start going down the questions for me.
Wonderful. You have so much energy.
Thank
Charlie,
you.
we love you. We love you.
Oh,
Wonderful.
appreciate it.
Wonderful. Okay, so we have a question now from Satar. And the question is, what online communities have you managed in the past?
Ooh, this is great. So my nerdy hobby was playing online versions of Big Brother and Survivor. Welcome to a weird hobby you never heard of. We also do it in person, but it's a whole other thing. It does not happen during COVID. So I managed that. I wanted us to all have a place to hang out, and we didn't have one on MySpace. I do that for this client where we coach women on how to get consulting clients. There's like 200 women in there that I help coach, but also help manage that Facebook group. I'm part of a group called Shy Tribe, and we help people find like Jewish related events. It's not at all religious. It is social, and it is fun. And we host lots of events here in Chicago. So we have tons of stuff there, and I'm sure many, many more. I am a community junkie. I am everywhere and all over the place. And I've been part of 1 Million Cups Chicago for many, many years. So that's a little bit of that. There's a lot there. Yes. We have so many good questions and comments in here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And we have a question from Michelle. Mm-hmm. What are 2 to 3 basics to do if you're a small organization and a limited budget?
This is great. So first thing I tell people, make a page on various accounts if you can. The reason I have so many followers on TikTok is because I joined TikTok 4 years ago when it was called something else, which meant that every friend that came out after me probably got a notification. Hey, your friend Shiley's already on here. Follow her. Same with Instagram. I was on early. Every one of my friends that came after followed me. I didn't know what I was doing by Instagram, but it's there and it's ready to go. So when I do care, I'm ready. The other thing I wrote in the comments to Michelle here is that your FAQ for your service-based business is the easiest thing. If you can have that published super clear, because that's going to help make the conversations easier for your clients. And usually those questions can probably guide what content you put out. So if you can match your followers and your connections that you already have to where you're putting out information, you are absolutely golden.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Taylor wrote a question about going through professors. Are the professors the ones that do they have access to the budgets to bring in speakers? I think, is that what I'm trying to find the best way to get into universities? I would like to think that if they saw what I did, they would appreciate it. But I don't know what the battle looks like. And we have some college people who are very familiar with colleges because they're in them right now. So thank you, Taylor, if you have any insights.
Are you saying, sorry, Shiley, when you said you're trying to get into colleges, what do you mean?
So a lot of students are graduating into a very terrible job market, which also happened when I graduated in 2013. So I want to see if I can do trainings to help those students feel empowered to talk about themselves on LinkedIn so that they can get the next opportunity. I've been doing this with high schoolers as well. I don't see a lot of people training them on this, and universities should get their students prepared. So I'm trying to figure out what the best avenue is to getting in. And I've already taught at Notre Dame, Cambrian College in Canada. I teach at the University of Chicago. Lots of really great places.
So
You know,
Michelle's comment, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just answering the question. So for me on my internship, I teach that. Like on the very first day, I taught that what you're talking about.
I love it.
It 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 depends on your relationships in different colleges with different professors and teachers, right? Because they're always looking for speakers, especially in those student organizations and clubs.
Yeah.
So that's one way. But I'm trying to see.
Yeah.
It's possible that you can become a vendor with the college.
Yeah.
But I think that only pertains to like if you're doing contracts and stuff. Are you saying you want to work for the college with social media, or you just want to be a speaker?
I want to speak and train the students. I've been doing this a whole bunch of different places too.
All right. So what you probably want to do is connect with the chairs of continuing education or adult education. Most community colleges have that. I know that they have continuing education classes. They're always looking for free or low cost classes to teach to the community, to business owners, and to students, right? It just depends on what are some of like the major classes that they want to teach for the year, but you can propose that. So going to the chair of continuing education, because they'll even pay you to do it, right? But you have to convince them that this is something that people really want. And I think you have a good angle because social media and marketing for entrepreneurs is big.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great insight.
And Michelle also suggested in the notes that in the chats, have you tried alumni associations at the universities? And then also try SCORE mentorship.
SCORE, people told me that they could get clients from speaking there. I don't know if they have budgets. That's the only thing, is that some of these don't have budgets. Some of them are prepared and they're looking for speakers. So I know alumni associations are usually trying to take money out of their alumni again. And I'm like, well, that's a tricky one, but it is a really great way to network with a lot of really interesting people. These are great insights.
Shiley, have you thought about starting your own internship, your own remote international internship?
I have 2 interns right now by accident, and I'm learning, and I see you have a whole system. So I am learning how to manage them and make sure that they're getting a great experience, and trying to be as ethical as I can as well. But yeah, that would be really cool.
And then, like LeBeau said, the university career services, because they look for a lot of speakers and have the resources. And Amy said through her university, they did this as well. So that would be awesome.
Very cool. I
That
really
would be
appreciate
awesome.
that.
And you know what? You could potentially do just, quick recordings and post them on LinkedIn.
Oh, I have full videos on LinkedIn and
perfect.
YouTube. I do, and I send them out. And the links I put in here earlier, they have links to like a bunch of different videos that are related. So if you want to watch my LinkedIn trainings, they are totally free on YouTube.
Are there any more questions left? If you have any questions, type them in. Otherwise, I believe Shiley put her information in the chat box already for you all to connect with her.
Absolutely. Including my favorite LinkedIn profiles. They're totally free, and it can help inspire what changes you make to your profile.
All right, awesome. So we really appreciate you, Shiley, for coming. I don't know if you're going to go to any other Women in Cups, but I hope that you do. Yeah, you are. So that's
I did
great.
2 today.
Great.
I was in Georgia this morning. And so,
I encourage so many other people to do the same thing. They need to. It's just, smart. It's a free way to get your information out there. So thank you, Shiley, for presenting with us.
Thank you.
And hopefully we can see you again in 6 months for a refill.
Sure.
Yeah. And so, we just like to check up on the businesses that present, see if there's any way we can serve them in in their next phase. So with that, I would like for everyone to begin putting any community announcements you might have, any events you have coming up. Go ahead and drop those in the chat box, and we can get to those in 1 second. Let's see. If we don't have any community announcements, we can go ahead and continue going around the horn. And Angela, you can facilitate that. Oh, well, we have something from Frankie. Let's see what she says. Frankie says on February 6th, she is running a donation-based virtual workshop to help value-led entrepreneurs learn how to price their services in a way that makes sense to their audience and feels good to their heart. Love that. And she put the link there. And then, of course, Dennis Miller has this ongoing, reoccurring online networking, which is Friday, January 29th at 12 p.m. And he's talking about your why will keep you going. To attend, he put the information down there. And we, Marketing Gems, on Facebook, we have a group called Marketing Gems, and it's for entrepreneurs and marketers to connect and share information with each other. And today we're going to be talking about lead generation. Every week we're going to address a question. And this week the question was, how do I prospect during a pandemic? We're limited in our networking, and I don't know how to prospect. And so I'm going to give 6 gems on how to network, or what you should do before you prospect in this pandemic, right?
That's a good one. We need that.
So
That's a good one.
so that's going to be at 11 this morning. Any other community announcements? All right, awesome. Angela, I'll let you take over and start introducing everyone, or letting everyone introduce themselves.
Oh, sure, no problem. Thank you, LeBeau. And guys, I have to apologize. My computer system froze and I had to shut down. So the recording stopped. So I'm on my cell phone now. LeBeau, I don't know if you want to start recording again, or we just let
It's
this
still
one go.
recording on my end. So since
Oh,
I've been on
good.
it, it was recording.
Oh, good. Thank you. Okay, guys, we have a few minutes. So can't remember where we start, but if you want to take the time, I see Matt is on. Matt, would you like to introduce yourself? Just 3 seconds. That's not much time, but if you would like to do so.
Sure. Thank you, Angela. Matt Smiler, TCU Entrepreneurship Institute. Shaylee, I'll drop my email in the chat. Shoot me an email. I might be able to connect you with some student groups, and we're always looking for speakers, workshops, etc. On there.
Thanks.
Happy to be here. I'm encouraging all my students this semester to be joining 1 Million Cups every Wednesday. So you may see more TCU students popping in. I'm forcing them through credit, so they will be in and out, over the next 2 or 3 months. So give them a warm welcome whenever they do show up. Thanks so much.
Yes, absolutely. We have a couple of TCU students on right now. And so I'm so glad you're doing that. That's wonderful. And make sure that they let us know who they are. But we're going to give them so much value. So thank you, Matt, for doing that. We appreciate you.
Wonderful. And hopefully we'll be able to get to them too as well. Hey, why don't is anyone from TCU just say hi? Any students, just say hi real quick.
They might have stepped away.
Okay, no problem. Hey, Ricky, we see you. Can you say hi for a second?
Hello, I'm Ricky McBride. I'm a CPA with Baker Tilly. I've been coming to 1 Million Cups ever since the Fort Worth group got formed several years ago. I also am on the board at Accelerate DFW. That was formerly the Back Education Foundation, and Matt's on that board with me. But anyway, I always enjoy helping startups, and our nonprofit helps small businesses to get to that next level of revenue. So anyway, Ricky McBride, glad to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We have eHire Solutions, and then we will go to, we'll see who's next. Anyone from eHire Solutions? There you go.
Yep. Hi there. I'm Chris Keim. I'm the founder of eHire Solutions. We screen candidates for companies and eliminate all of the upfront work, which is, really painful to get to the good candidates. So that's the services we provide. Perhaps in the near future, we can talk a little bit more about it. So maybe we could present. We'll reach out when it's time.
That's a great
Awesome.
service. That is a great service right there, because so many employers, struggle with that, finding the right team members for what they're trying to do, and that whole process, and making sure that you're selecting the right folks, and then just knowing where to delegate them to, and making sure you're putting those right people in the right positions.
That's right.
So
Thank you.
awesome. I would love for you to present for us one day. What
Yes.
about Jen? Jen from Milstonia is here. She's going to be presenting next week. Say hi, Jen.
Hi, nice to meet everybody, and I do look forward to presenting. Milestonia is a software platform for managing goals, helping teams to manage goals, and helping leaders to create accountability cultures that are fun. So I look forward to showing that to you next week.
Awesome.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thanks, Jen. And I think we have Stella, and then Terencia, and then I think that's it. LeBeau. Stella, you want to say hi? There you go.
Hi, my name is Stella. My last name is Onyacha. I actually joined, this is my first day. I'm off mute of camera because I don't look pretty right now. I joined this because some lady called Amy from bbb.org referred me to join this. I am in a process of studying a business. I've put my groundwork together, but because I'm not there yet, so I wouldn't even talk about it. But she advised me to join this. I'm so grateful to be here. I may have to tap somebody like Bill Wang. It's a good, interesting thing that he said, because I may need help. So maybe next week I'll show my face so you guys can get to see me.
Awesome. Stella, thank you for joining. I always say, if someone told you about 1 million cups, it's because they really care. They really want to see you succeed, because you can learn so much just from osmosis. Even if you don't ever show your face or don't ever present, you'll be in a completely different place 6 months from now, because you will learn so much.
Okay, let me throw my face for a minute, but I didn't think I was ready.
Okay.
Stella, you look fine, girl. You look
Yes,
good.
you do, Stella.
You look great. Someone named Just for Us. I didn't want to skip over them. That looks like a new person.
Hi, Jeanette. Please say hello.
Hi, everyone. I am new. This is my first morning. Thank you guys so much. It was wonderful. Yes, my name is Jeanette. I am a disabled Navy veteran. I live here in Mansfield, Texas, and my company is new. It's a baby. I started the process in 2019. I launched in 2019. 2017, I launched in 2019. Just for Us is an vegan, cruelty-free, organic, all natural, perfume-free. Started off as a hair care company, transitioning into hair and skincare. Can be used from head to toe. Has aided in regrowth, alopecia, eczema, psoriasis, sunburn, and it's just an amazing all natural product. I did drop my information in the chat, so but I will shout it out: 817-797-3220. And my website is naturallyjan45.com. And again, thank you. It was an amazing morning with you guys.
Thank you, Jen. And I definitely would love you to just keep coming back and listening.
Yes.
But one day, I want you to present for us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Keep
No
coming
problem.
and seeing how the flow is. And then, but yeah, definitely, we want to hear more about that, because it sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
So thank you all for joining today. And next week, we will have some more presenters for you. So this was 1 Million Cups. This recording will be available later on today at LeBeau Productions YouTube. And also make sure you're following us on Facebook. We also post the previous presentations there as well on our page. So you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey,
everyone.
LeBeau, I think there was one person we forgot, LeBeau.
Oh, who's that? Terencia?
Terencia, yeah.
Yeah, she's one of my folks.
Okay, did we get you, Terencia?
Oh, I'll just say a quick little word. I'm Terencia. I'm studying communication and psychology at the University of St. Thomas, and I'm here interning and just taking in all this information.
Yes, she's a multi-talented creative writer, video editor, and just a jack of all trades when it comes to marketing but also video and production and film. And so she's a great asset to the team, and you will see more of her later on.
Awesome. LeBeau, thank you for creating this tribe. We have so many people from diverse backgrounds, and this is just a beautiful asset for 1 Million Cups. Thank you for leading this.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome.
Yes.
You're welcome. And thank you all, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you next week. Take care.
Bye.